This is spring wheat. The variety is Fielder. What makes this wheat different is that it's been gene edited. It's been precision bred to have bigger, bolder grains. And it's part of a project that is multiplying up wheat to bring the first gene edited cereals onto UK farms across Europe. This is PROBITY, a platform to rate organisms bred for improved traits and yield. It's a £2.2 million DEFRA-funded project with 11 industry partners led by Boffin. So this plot here is going to be multiplied up over the 3 years of the project, and then we're going to be putting it onto about 10 farms in the year 3 of the project so that they can grow it up and have a look at how it performs in a real farm situation. I'm here with Professor Christobal Wowie, who's a scientist at the John Innes Centre.
So in conventional breeding, you'll take two varieties that look different and perform different. You'll make a cross and try to find something that has the combination of the two. And that's a relatively long process, 10 to 15 years. With precision breeding, what we're trying to do is take something that we already have and perhaps just change 1 or 2 genes to try to improve its performance for those particular traits, and then test it out in the field like we're doing here in 3 or 4 years.
Now we're looking at gene-edited crops here, aren't we? So how is that different from GM or genetic modification?
So in this case, this precision bred crop has a change in a couple of genes that we've made edits or small changes in it. In the case of a GM crop, what would happen is that we would need to introduce an extra gene, an extra sequence, a foreign sequence to provide that trait. And here what we're doing is that we're just changing one of the sequences of the wheat variety itself to hopefully make it improve in its performance.
Tell me about the specific edit that you've made here, that you and your team have introduced into this wheat.
So a while back we found a gene called, or sorry, a species called Triticum polonicum, which is a wild wheat that has relatively big grains. And through genetics we were able to identify the gene responsible for it. And we found that the gene responsible, the variation that happened in nature was a small deletion in how the gene is regulated. So the gene turns on and off in a slightly different way than the current wheats that we have. So what we did is that instead of making a cross between wheat and a wild wheat and then having to do all the breeding to try to catch up and make a variety, we took, let's say, a more modern day variety like here, and we made the edit directly. So we recreated that variation that happened in nature. We recreated it directly into the variety rather than having to shuffle the genomes and start all over the process again.
I see. So that actual trait, so you say it's a bigger, bolder grain,
yes,
right? So does that mean a higher yield? Does that mean better quality? What do we know about this wheat?
We'll see. That's the question. That's the research we want to do.
We're also going to be supplying it to Dyson Farming Research, who'll be doing some intensive agronomy trials to explore just what this exciting trait can deliver for UK wheats.
As part of the PROBITY project, Dyson Farming will be doing plot scale trials where we take the PBO lines and we put them into our own commercial fields and then start putting them through their paces. We start kind of testing what environments are they good in, what environments are they not. We do this by kind of doing a real extra level of assessments of the crops through the season, and so that at the end of the year we can really understand how they best grow and how we farm them essentially. The agronomy trials, if they go well, should really kind of help us prosper to see how the bigger, bolder work package that we're working on helps take these lines and give us more yield from the same amount of seed. So for us as a business over the scale that we're operating, that could be an absolute game changer really.
But this project is not just about the wheats themselves, it's also about the farmers.
There's about 9 steps in the arable supply chain if you count it up, especially if you take winter wheat all the way from breeding in science all the way to the consumer eating a product. So it's really quite complex, and what's really exciting me about this is the number of the supply chain involved, yeah, and the variation. There's a full set, which is absolutely great. I think really we've just got to learn how these varieties grow, how these products grow, what they look like in the field, and what the best way to get the maximum potential out of them. And that's going to be a combination of the farmers and then the agronomy companies that we've got involved as well, which is fantastic. So working with those together, I mean, the farmer's just so used to sort of picking a variety off the list and planting it, learning a bit about it, but this, I think the transparency of this project, so that the farmer actually understands where the product is actually going to end up and why they are doing it, is the exciting part.
Well, this is shaping up to be a really exciting project, but how do you feel about it? We're looking for hundreds of farmers to get involved in the Sequence Circle. This is a new discussion forum on the Farming Forum within the Knowledge in Farming section, where we want to hear your concerns and we want to hear your aspirations for these crops and also your queries. We can put those to the experts. And it'll also be the place where you'll get to hear about the opportunities to grow these crops as well. We're looking for 25 farmers to bring these crops into their fields for harvest 2026. You'll also be the first to hear about the results from the project and any outcomes and analysis within it as well. So come to probityproject.co.uk for more information on how to get involved in the Sequence Circle.